Mto Online, your online class for new curriculum and the new competence-based curriculum. Subscribe, like and share on our YouTube channel. Just type Mto Online. Today we're going to look at some sample scenarios in mathematics, how they are set, and how we can equally respond to them. The scenario tonight, we're going to get it from a chapter called matrices, and this is taught in senior 3. However, even in senior 2, senior 4, or in a class, you can pick a leaf and then you see how we handle such scenarios. So we have a question that says, four members of a certain circle, that is Arayo, Josephine, Betty, and Francis, bought items as shown below. Arayo bought 1 bag of posho, 5 bags of millet, 2 bags of sorghum, and 2 bags of rice. Then we have Josephine. For her, she bought 5 bags of posho, 3 bags of millet, and 4 bags of rice. Whereas Betty bought 4 bags of posho and 8 bags of rice. Francis bought 2 bags of posho, 3 bags of millet, 4 bags of sorghum, and 3 bags of rice. Then we have a continuation that the cost per bag of each item bought was rice at 200,000 Uganda shillings, sorghum at 60,000 Uganda shillings, millet at 75,000 Uganda shillings, and posho at 100,000 Uganda shillings. Then the task that we have, part A, assist the circle members to summarize the information in matrix form for the 1 items purchased, cost expensed. Then part B, what do you think is the appropriate order of matrix multiplication for computing total expenses? Then, using your knowledge of matrix multiplication, help the members to know how much each shall spend on their purchases. Then the second last, if the members of the circle sold all their items at shillings, for the first one, she sold her items at 7,150,000 and agreed to share this money amongst Arayo, Josephine, Betty, and Francis in the ratio 2 to 3.5 to 5 to 2.5 respectively. So in that order, help the members to determine how much each should take at the end of the business. Lastly, of the 4 members who got the maximum profits. Okay, so that is the question. Let's see how we can appropriately handle such a question. Now, when you look at this question, it encompasses more than one topic, because we are now seeing ratios. So again, it is also a topic on its own, ratios and proportionality, still in senior 3. Then the matrices, however, we can still concurrently handle them. So one thing that you need to know, you recall what a matrix is, the order of a matrix, and then what you need to know is how do we multiply matrices. Because whenever you see matrices here, at least be mindful or be aware of the 4 operational symbols that you need to use them at one way or the other. That is multiplication, addition, subtraction, and division. So under this, you must have uh, looked at how you can multiply matrices. Okay, let's summarize this information. Part A is requiring us to assist the circle members to summarize the information in a matrix form for the items purchased and then the cost expensed. So that means they want us to come up with the item matrix and then the cost matrix. And whenever you write the item matrix, endeavor to also write the order for that particular matrix. And so does the cost matrix. Let's do this. So we have four names. We have four names, four members of this circle. We have Arayo. We have Arayo. Then we have Josephine. We have Josephine. Then we have Betty. And then we have Francis. Then the commodities that are doubling in, we have Posho. These are items. We have Posho. Then we have millet. We have sorghum. And then we have rice. Now, it is important to abbreviate some of these items or even names. But most importantly, you can simply abbreviate the items. But even when you abbreviate the names of these members here, it is still okay. However, you need to make sure that you use at least letters that you can equally recall them, or maybe you must have let them. So for Posho, we shall use a P. For millet, we shall use M, sorghum S, and rice R. So then, when we are arranging these items in matrix format, probably the item matrix, the items purchased or items bought are always put up in the upper row. Then the names of people, names of places, those ones are independent, and then the items are dependent. So the independent stuff they are put on this vertical column, as we are going to see. So this is Arayo. Then can put here Josephine. Then we have Betty. And then we have Francis. Now, these people, they each bought Posho, millet, sorghum, and rice. I want to use those letters to represent those items in that order. Now, always the first member gives us the order or gives us the arrangement of the items. You see that Arayo bought one bag of Posho, then millet, sorghum, and rice in that arrangement there. So that means we shall put it first like that. Then the rest of the members, we shall just follow the trend. Because now in the next part, they can say Josephine bought millet, sorghum, and rice. Then maybe they can end it with Posho. So for us, we shall be just mindful of the first member. Then the rest of the members, we shall just follow this arrangement. So let us now fill in the information given. So this is our part A, Roman 1, and this is item matrix. So Arayo bought one bag of Posho. So under the Posho category, Arayo has one bag, 5 bags of millet. So these are 5 bags of millet, 2 bags of sorghum, and 2 bags of rice. So, and 2 bags of rice, like that. Josephine bought 5 bags of Posho. So for Josephine, she has 5 here, 3 bags of millet. These are 3 here. and 4 bags of rice. So rice is here, it is a 4. So on sorghum, this Josephine didn't buy anything. And of course, mathematically, we shall put a 0 there because she bought nothing there. Then when we go to the next member, for her, Betty bought 4 bags of posho. So she has a 4 here and 8 bags of rice. So, and 8 here. Then for millet and sorghum, she desired nothing there. Then the last person, we have Francis, who bought 2 bags of posho. She has a 2 here, 3 bags of millet, 4 bags of sorghum, a 4 is here, and 3 bags of rice, and 3 there. So that is the item matrix. So this is the required item matrix in Roman 1, item matrix. This is item matrix. However, just like I've told you that whenever you write a matrix, make sure at least you state its order. Then you can come here and say it is. Now, when we are stating order of a matrix, you remember, we say row by column. And the word by can be represented by a multiplication symbol. So it is row by column. To state the order of the matrix, you first count the number of rows, these ones, then the number of columns like this. So when we count the number of rows, we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. Those are rows. So it is a 4 by, I said we can represent it by multiplication. Then we have to count the columns. Columns, these are vertical crossings. So now have 1, 2, 3, 4. They are also 4. So the order, it is a 4 by 4 order matrix. It is a 4 by 4 order matrix. It is not asked, but it is very important, such that it can also give you a clue on how you're going to multiply. Because now when you see that if you have a 4 by 4 matrix and you probably want to multiply it by a matrix whose order is a 4 by 1 or a 1 by 4, you now get a picture on how you can handle that. Because always when we multiply a bigger matrix times a smaller matrix, we get a smaller matrix. So as we are going to see in the following attempt. So that is part A, Roman 1, items purchased. Then they want us also to come up with the cost matrix. So Roman 2 here, we shall have cost matrix. Now these items here, they were each priced differently. And so what we're going to do this time round, we are going to write the cost matrix. Now the rice, millet, sorghum, and all that, and posho will now become the independent, and then the cost become dependent. So this time round, we shall say we shall have posho here, we shall have millet, we shall have sorghum, and then we shall have rice. Then these ones are each priced differently. So this amount here is just for a bag of each of those items above. So the cost per bag of each item was rice at Uganda shillings. So rice was priced at 200,000 a bag. Sorghum at 60,000. Millet at 75,000. And then posho was priced at 100. So posho was priced at 100. Then rice at 200, like that. So rice at 200, sorghum at 60. Sorghum is here. So you see that the arrangement was not that clear. They just anyhow arranged this information, but for you, you must arrange them from the first item to the last. So posho, millet, sorghum, and rice. Then also you make sure that even your cost matrix aligns with the arrangement of the items. So posho is 100,000 a bag, sorghum is 60, millet is 75, And lastly, we have the rice, which is at 200,000. So this is the cost matrix. Now, when you look at this matrix here, the order of this matrix, we have also to take the very way we write the order. It is row by column. This is row by column. So you just need to count in the rows and the columns. Now, when we count the rows here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 rows. Then columns, we only have 1 column. So that means the order of the cost matrix, the order of the cost matrix is a 4 by 1 matrix. So it is a 4 by 1. You see that there are 4 rows and then 1 column. So the order becomes a 4 by 1 matrix. So that is the matrix that shows or that summarizes the cost expensed. In other words, this is the cost matrix, and then this is called an item matrix. Then part B, what do you think is the appropriate order of matrix multiplication for computing total expenses? So they want us now to multiply this and that. But before we multiply, they're asking you and me, you who is seeing me, who is watching this video, what do you think is the best order? Now, part B, the best order for computing the total expenses. You see, these are the commodities or items purchased by each of these members, and then this is how much each bag costed them. But they each bought, of course, different amounts. Now, they want us to use the mathematical ideas and principles to give also your view on which one or on which way should they come up with the total expenses of the commodities bought. So now, if we have a 4 by 4 matrix, that is the item matrix, we have to multiply it by a 4 by 1 matrix. Here, we must get, I told you that big times small, we get the small. It's like in physics, significant figures. When you have 2 significant figures multiplied by 3 significant figures, the answer should be recorded to 2 significant. So the same will apply. We have 4 by 4, then times 4 by 1. So our answer will be a 4 by 1 order. That means this part B, using your knowledge of matrix, part B, what do you think is the appropriate order? So you say the appropriate order should be a 4 by 4 order matrix multiplication. However, you have to showcase this first. This is a 4 by 4 or item matrix. You're multiplying it with the cost matrix. But this is order 4 by 4. You're multiplying it with 4 by 1. So your answer will be 4 by 1 matrix. Let us see. In part C, using the knowledge of matrix multiplication, help the members to know how much each shall spend on their purchases. So let us see whether this will really come out as our final answer in matrix, and we see whether our order is right. So our part C right here, we are going to use the knowledge of matrix multiplication, which is a row by column, to come up with the total expenses for each. So I'm going to use, we have Arayo, we have Josephine, and then we have Betty, and then we have Francis. These people, they each have, we have posho, have millet, have sorghum, and rice. There is a 1, 5, 2, and 2. We have 5, 3, 0, and 4. Then Betty, we have 4, 0, 0, 8. And then we have 2, 3, 4, 3, like that. We are going to multiply it with the cost matrix, which is in shillings. This is 100,000. This is also in 75,000. Then this is 60,000. 60,000, and then this is 400,000. So multiplication is row by column. This arrow here is showing rows, then this inverted vertical arrow is showing columns that are running vertically. Then the rows, for them, they run horizontal. Now, we're going to multiply the first row by this column here, because now we see that on the cost matrix, it is only one column. So it is a row by column. So that means when we are multiplying, we have to make sure that we add everything till the row is finished. So now here we shall have 1 times this plus this times that plus 2 times this plus 2 times that, because this portion goes with this 100, millet goes with 75, sorghum goes with 60, and rice goes with 200. So we say row by column. So 1 times this plus, because it is the same person, we are still on Arayo. So Arayo bought one bag of posho, and that one bag of posho costed her 100, plus 5 times this, plus 2 times this, plus this times that. So you say that when you finish all that, that will be only Arayo. You repeatedly do that for the rest of the members. Just pin Bet and Francis. Let's waste no time, and we handle that. So we shall, of course, have to maintain these members here: Arayo, Josephine, Betty, and Francis. Now, 1 times this, I can actually show this that it is 1 times 100 for the purposes of understanding here. Plus, whenever you multiply, please endeavor to put a small bracket to minimize or to total avoid mistakes. So plus 5 times that, so plus 5 times 75,000, then plus 2 times 60, so plus 2 times 60,000, then lastly plus 2 times 200, so 2 times 200,000, like that. So this is only on Arayo. So we do the same for Josephine. So for Josephine, it is 5 times 100 plus a 3 times 75,000. Of course, plus a 0 here. 0 times this, we shall have a 0. Then plus 4 times 200. Then when we go to Betty, for her, she has 4 times 100, then plus 0, plus another 0, 0, 0. Of course, 0 multiplied by anything, we shall still get a 0. So plus 8 times 200,000. Like that. Then finally, we shall have this Francis having a 2 times 100,000, then plus a 3 times 75,000, plus a 4 times 60,000, and then plus a 3 times 200,000, like that. Endeavor to thereafter put to close the matrix in that form. So we shall finally have these people here. We shall have Arayo, Josephine, Betty, and Francis having this amount here. Yes? Okay. So we are going to multiply, and then of course, now when you have 1 times 100, we shall still maintain the 100. Then we have the 5 times the 75,000. Okay, so this is, let's simplify this. This is 100,000 plus 5 times 75, that that is around 375,000, then plus 120,000 plus 400,000. Then we come to Josephine. She has 500,000 here plus this and that. There is 1,600,000. Then when we go to this Betty here, for Betty, she has 400,000 plus we shall, this is plus okay, for Josephine we had 500,000. Josephine we have 500,000. Okay, there was an error here for Josephine, I included for Betty. So this is instead 3 times 75. So when you have 3 times the 75, you get 225. So this is plus 225,000. Then plus this times that. This is 800,000. Then when you come to this, it is 400,000 plus now the 1,600,000. Then finally we have Francis, which is now 200,000 plus 225, 3 zeros, plus this and that 6 and 4, that is 24. Then the 4 zeros, then plus there is 6 0 0 0 0 0. Then you have to close like that. Then finally you have to summarize this information by adding everything for each one of them. So when you add, we have 100,000 plus 375 plus 120, then plus the 400,000, you realize that Arayo, this is for Arayo. She has 995,000, but remember these are shillings, so you can put shillings, 995,000. Then we have Josephine. For Josephine, we have 500 plus 800. There is around 100,000. So 800, then plus 500. So we have 1,300,000 as total amount for Josephine. 1,300,000. 15. Oh, plus this. Oh, there is also plus a 225. So we have the 500,000 plus the 800,000 plus the 225,000. So you realize that we have 1,525,000. Then when we go to Betty, this Betty, for her, she has 400 plus 1.6, that is 2 million. So this is 2 million. Then finally we have this Francis. And Francis, we have 200,000 plus 225,000 plus 240, like that, then plus the 600,000. So we have around 101,265,000. Now that is the total expenses for each member there. Now still when you look at the question, it is not yet done, but we've at least so far used the matrix multiplication knowledge, that is a row by column, to come up with the total expenses for each and every member. Then when you look at part C, but of course here you can just now conclude, because you're seeing Arayo going with that, Josephine with that, Betty. So you can now say Arayo spent, then you write their respective total expenditures. Then part D, if the members of the circle sold all their items at 7 million. So now they all sold their items. Now, assuming this is their cost price, if we sum up all of them. So this is their cost price, perhaps. Then they sold it and then they got this total amount. So we can total amount sold, total amount of items, total amount of items sold equals to shillings. Here in the question, they give us 70,150,000 and agreed to share in the ratio. So in the ratio, we have Arayo, Josephine, Betty, and Francis. Then the ratio is 2 to 3.5 to 5, then to 2.5. Help the members to determine how much each should take at the end of the business. So now that we already have the total amount, and then we have the ratios in which they shared their items. So it is now very, very easy to use these ratios to come up with the amount for each of them. So what you need to do first is now to get the total ratio first. Then after getting the total ratio, you're going to use the ratios for the different members, and then you calculate for each one's amount. So beginning with Arayo, Arayo has a share of 2 parts, but before that, the total parts or total ratio will be equal to 2 plus 3.5 plus 5 plus 2.5. So when we add that, we shall have 13 parts. So the total parts are now 13. These 13 parts, they amount to, or they are equivalent to the 7.15 million. Now, Josephine's share, we can begin with Arayo anyway. Arayo's share will be equal. We take the parts for Arayo, which are 2 parts, over the total parts, which are 13, times the 7.15 million. Like that. Then we get this amount here. Then equally we do the same for Josephine, Arayo, Josephine, Betty, and Francis. So this person here is having shillings 1,100,000. Then when we go to Josephine's share will be equal to her parts, which are 3.5 parts, over the total parts, then times the total amount obtained after selling all their commodities. So by this, we shall now have the 3.5 divided by 13 parts, but again times the 7.5 thousand. So these people, This one has 1,925,000 shillings. Then we have Betty. Betty's share equal to, we take her parts, 5 parts over the 13 times 7,150,000. So when you look at the parts division, you see that it is this Betty who got the highest amount because she has the highest parts or the most number of parts. However, we have to mathematically prove that. So you see that Betty's share is amounting to shillings 2,750,000, like that. Then finally we have Francis. This Francis's share will be equal to the 2.5 over 13 times 7,150,000. This will amount to shillings. We have the 2.5 divided by 13 parts, then multiplied by the 7,150,000. This will give us 1.375 million. 1,375,000, like that. So you see that when you add this one, and this one, you end up getting the total amount of 7.15 million as required. Then the last part is obvious. Of the 4 members who got the maximum profits, it is of course now very obvious. You just now look at these people's amounts and you see who actually got the highest amount or maximum. But given the fact that Betty has the highest number of parts, she must have still got the maximum profit, as you can see. For Betty, who has 5 parts out of the 13, so she's having 2.75 million, unlike Arayo, Betty, and Francis. So with that, in case you have any query where you've not maybe got me well, can send in your questions and we try to answer. So with the matrices, that's how best we can handle such numbers. Most importantly, take note when you're multiplying, it is row by column. So you have to multiply row by column. So you see that this matrix that summarizes the total expenditure for each and every member, it is a 4 by 1 matrix, which I already talked about as one of the best way to multiply. We had a 4 by 4 matrix multiplied by a 4 by 1, and then I told you that we have to get a matrix whose order is the least one from out of the one we used when we were multiplying. So 4 by 4 times 4 by 1, we said we get 4 by 1. And honestly, it is a 4 by 1 matrix. 4 rows, then 1 column. So when you multiply big times small, record your answer to small. Otherwise, thanks for watching. So we have some members here. We have Yasin Mugoya, you're welcome. Chualabia Kasim, you're also welcome. Luthi Nabada, Shalon, Victor, and the others. Carlton, Seymour Gates, and many more. Please, you're welcome. Subscribe to Muto Online, like and share for more lessons related to the new competence-based curriculum. We sign out for now.